Hi, everybody. It's Lynne McTaggart. Welcome back to my intention experiment, an ongoing international live effort to try to limit the incidence of the coronavirus, but also the fear we have in our hearts. I have two intentions today, and I also have something I want to read you to take away some of the fear that we all have. Not only that this is a random killer and that it could strike any one of us without any antidote. That's the kind of story, that's the narrative we've been given in the media. And we all believe it because we see the death tolls. We hear about the death tolls every single day. And we think, as I say, that this invisible enemy is the greatest enemy we will face. And an enemy that no one understands, an enemy that we are defenseless against, an enemy that has no cure. So I want to address that and also, strangely, look at this frightening time with the issues of medical health that are front and center, but also the problems that we have economically, the problems we have in observing essentially the beginnings of global economic meltdown, and so many other things that are leaving us to feel like our life is collapsing around us. I want to talk to you about this as a strange, unique opportunity. So first of all, I want us to hold a minute of intention for the Prime Minister of my country. As you may have heard, I live in the UK, and our Prime Minister is Boris Johnson, and he has come down with coronavirus, and he is now in intensive care. Now, this is not political. It's not about what side of the fence you're on. I'm just asking everyone to come together to recognize this is not the right time for us to lose a Prime Minister. So I'd like us all to just have a moment of silence and intention for Prime Minister Johnson. And the intention I'd like you to just hold for a moment is this. Our intention is that Prime Minister Boris Johnson be immediately, completely, and permanently healed of all symptoms of coronavirus, particularly breathlessness, and that he be swiftly restored to work in order to lead Britain out of this pandemic. So can we all imagine we're holding hands and just wish him health, wish him recovery, see him walking out of the hospital and going back to number 10 Downing Street and helping us to lead and helping us all to feel positive and firmly in charge of being able to end this pandemic. So let's just hold our hands virtually and just hold that intention now. Our intention is that Prime Minister Boris Johnson be immediately, completely, and permanently healed of all symptoms of coronavirus, particularly breathlessness, and that he be swiftly restored to work in order to lead Britain out of this pandemic. So let's just hold this for a moment. Okay, thank you very much. And I'm sure many citizens of the UK thank you in this hour of uncertainty. So I want to read you something that came from the futurist Dr. Irvin Laszlo. And he articulated what I've also been speaking about, which is to look at this pandemic strangely as an opportunity to do things better. So I want to read little bits about this. He says that we're in the midst of a bifurcation, the process scientists call a sudden forking in the evolutionary trajectory of a complex dynamic system. So for the first time in history, as he says, we have this big fork in the road, and we can consciously and purposefully choose our destiny. And he also says that bifurcation creates crisis. And the crisis, as we know, is both danger and opportunity. But either way, it's a prelude to change. So the challenge is to choose the change that leads to a sane and flourishing world. Returning to business as usual, to the norms and practices and the values and assumptions of the past would be suicidal. Fortunately, it's not possible. This is just as well. Another way is now open for us. The social, economic, political, and cultural systems that have been framing our life have been shaken to their roots. Disruptive change happened, and it's a prelude to fundamental change, whether constructive or destructive. So what he says is, in a blessing, the pandemic is a blessing in disguise. It's made us realize that we're a single global family, an interdependent and either co-evolving or co-devolving living system. If we fail to make good use of the opportunity this gives us, we expose ourselves to a plethora of crises. But if we make good use of it, we can create a better world. So what is it then we need to do? It's clear we need to think constructively, to dare to hope and to dare to act to realize our hope. But we also need to act differently, to act as if we were part of the web of life on the planet. We need to adopt better goals. We've ignored the interdependence and ultimate oneness of life. It is not our people, our nation first, or even me first, not even all of humanity first. It is the web of life first, as it exists and evolves on Earth. When that web is safe and sound, we are safe and sound. Our body's healthy when it's whole, and the body of humanity is healthy when it's whole, when it embraces and values all the beings that walk the earth. We're also talking about all of the malignant ideas that we have embraced. And that means things like examining the way of life we've had, the relentless pursuit of riches and power. We are social beings, and we can live like such beings. Living like that is good for us and good for the world. Living in harmony with others and with nature is healthier, happier, and more rewarding than chasing after self-centered, short-term satisfactions. So there's a new bottom line. We can take our life and our destiny into our own hands. We can be the change we wish to see in the world. In our global bifurcation, we're masters of our destiny. This we must realize, and this we must put into practice. Our health, our well-being, our very survival depends on it. So what he's basically saying is this is opening up our chances for a global, massive global transformation. You know, we've been talking about this really for more than a decade. Many people in the spiritual community have talked about evolution and how we're automatically evolving. I haven't seen much evidence of automatic evolution. I've seen more of the same old until now. And that's what's so interesting about this time. Because as Irvin says, we have had to be more interconnected, than we've been able to be before, than we've cared to be before. We've had to consider the outcomes of the entire world, not just ourselves, our neighborhood, our families, or even our nation. So this gives us an opportunity for global transformation because, as I've written about many times before, we're involved now in the beginnings of what is called a supraordinate goal, a goal that can only be achieved by the collective efforts of everyone involved. And when that happens, things like prejudice fall away, cooperation soars, and people become more loving, kind, and connected to each other. They also are healthier, happier in every regard. I've written about this in The Power of Eight. I've written about this in The Bond. Connection is the most important element of being human. Being part of an interconnected world is as essential to us as oxygen. In fact, it's more essential to us. Belonging is possibly the most important need we have as a human being. So think about the possibilities of doing it differently. If there is financial meltdown, instead of being fearful that the old has collapsed, let's dream about what we can put in there in its stead. This is our opportunity to do it better. So I want everybody to feel that, really feel the possibility here in the midst of this fear, and not to be fearful, because there are so many things you can do. Now, our intention today, I want to focus on the possibility, first of all, of protecting yourself and curing yourself from COVID-19, because that is the first part of our fear. And in subsequent intention experiments, we're going to start dreaming a new dream together. But here's what I'd like you to intend. Our intention is that people in my country, and that means each of you think about your own country, immediately disseminate information about and supplies of effective natural virus killers like vitamin C and iodine, and all the ways to boost the immune system for maximum protection of themselves, their loved ones, and their compatriots. Now, I'm focusing on this because I've been involved in a series of free webinars. We've been hosting this. They're called Supercharging Yourself Against COVID-19. No, or Supercharging Yourself Against Coronavirus, I think it's called. And this free webinar series, available to everybody, no strings attached, no upsell, none of that. That's just our gift to humanity. And these webinars we have instituted so that we can interview a number of doctors and other experts in varying fields to show you what natural virus killers there are out there, what to do to protect yourself and your loved ones, what to do to stay safe, how to boost your immune system in various ways through food, through movement, through calming your stress hormones. So do check that out, and the link is on this link on this page. But also, I want you to know that there are effective virus killers. One of the things we've been covering in these webinars, speaking to a number of doctors who have been on the front line testing this, is that vitamin C is an extraordinary effective virus killer. Iodine for the outside, for disinfecting yourself. If you come into contact with the coronavirus, a few drops of iodine in coconut oil are an amazing disinfectant, kills viruses and all microbes dead immediately. That's why it's used in surgery. So there's that and a load of other things that we've talked about on the webinars, but also you can do, and there's solid evidence about this. It isn't really disseminated, but they've, as I think I've mentioned on earlier broadcasts, they have used this in Wuhan, they did a trial of a number of critically ill coronavirus patients and then moderately ill coronavirus patients with Dr. Mao, who has been interested in intravenous vitamin C. And his is the only trial where they've used high enough doses, where they used 10 grams on moderately infected patients, moderately ill patients, and 20 grams on seriously ill patients. And all of the seriously ill patients survived. So this is a really important point. Vitamin C is an effective virus killer. It's also an effective virus preventative. So do check out some of the information we have. I will also have it on my blogs with a bunch of recipes of what to do so that you eliminate your own fear. It's not a random killer. It attacks people who have weakened immune systems. And so there's many ways to boost your immune system with a variety of foods, which we've covered on one of our webinars, and also these natural virus killers. So let's hold this intention now. I'd like everybody to virtually hold hands the way we do every week and hold this intention. Our intention is that people in my country, and that you're supposed to think about your own country, immediately disseminate information about and supplies of effective natural virus killers like vitamin C and iodine, and all the ways to boost the immune system for maximum protection of themselves, their loved ones, and their compatriots. So I'll read that a few times, but let's just virtually hold hands and take a deep inhale, and a deep exhale. Deep inhale and a deep exhale. A deep inhale and keep going with your exhale. And during this intention, I want you to imagine people in your country, your family, your friends, your compatriots, all receiving, getting hold of vitamin C, which is very, very cheap, and other things like iodine, also very cheap, and being able to effectively use it as a preventative. For people to lose their fear because they know there are ways of treating this virus and know there are ways of preventing this virus. So let's hold that intention. Breathing. Our intention is that people in my country immediately disseminate information about and supplies of effective natural virus killers like vitamin C and iodine, and all the ways to boost the immune system for maximum protection of themselves, their loved ones, and their compatriots. And imagine all those images as you bring that intention down to your heart and you send it out. And feel the energy that we all share in being united on this little broadcast together, holding hands around the world. A perfect example of a superordinate goal. Just feel the energy, the connectedness, the power you hold. Observe what happens to you as you merge with the oneness of the thousands of people on this live broadcast and afterward. Our intention is that people in my country immediately disseminate information about and supplies of effective natural virus killers like vitamin C and iodine, all the ways to boost the immune system for maximum protection of themselves, their loved ones, and their compatriots. Just keep holding that. Just see people not being so fearful. People knowing they've got something to help them to prevent or treat COVID-19. Also see the doctors accepting this and just experimenting with high-dose intravenous vitamin C, experimenting with telling their patients to boost their levels of vitamin C, selenium, magnesium, vitamin D, and zinc, also vitamin A. See them understanding that a very fully charged immune system will help patients, and that it's not a random killer. And for all of us, let us understand too, that stress is a huge factor in lowering our immune defenses. And one of the ways to lower stress is connection, one of the major ways. And for us to connect together with this intention experiment is also healing. We're just going to hold this for one more minute. Feel the energy of everyone on this broadcast. Feel the connection and the hand-holding with people all around the world. Quietly observe what's happening to you in your body. Are you out of your body? Are you feeling tingling? Are you feeling powerful energy? And also make note what it does to you mentally. Does it change anything in your life? Do you feel differently toward other people? Differently about yourself? just note what is happening to you as well. So in your own time, let go of that intention, trust the process, and take your time and come back onto this call. So everybody, please make sure and observe what happens to you over the coming days. Do you feel more confident? Do you feel more at peace? Do you feel less fearful? Note down how you're feeling on my Facebook page. And also, keep note about it yourself. Just observe what happens. And make sure to come back next Wednesday, same time, when we'll be doing another intention experiment to heal ourselves in every way from the coronavirus. So thank you so much for participating today. Thank you especially for that little moment of intention prayer for our Prime Minister. That will help the country I live in a lot. And also, thank you so much for holding on to this intention. And remember, if you want more information about how to supercharge your own immune system or to care for yourself with natural virus killers, we've covered this with a number of fantastic experts. Dr. Sarah Myhill, Dr. Damian Downing, one of the leading integrative specialists in the world, Dr. Robert Rickerk, the scientific director of and executive director of the Alliance for Natural Health, and many others in this 4-part webinar that's free to everyone. So you'll see the link on this Facebook page. Check it out if you'd like more information. So have a safe and healthy week, and I hope to see you next week. Thank you so much. Bye now.